Hey, John. I hope you can hear me. I'm going to test it out right now here. See if you guys can hear me. Let's see if you get. Hey, John. Okay. Okay. It looks like it's good to go. Appreciate it. Just want to go through some beautiful Alex Toth work from, I believe, 70s, 1981. Thanks, Rolling K. Appreciate it. Yesterday I had that problem. Um, I'm going to cut this off now. I can turn off my phone, get it out of my way. Um, this is Alex Toth, 1981. He was in his 50s, 53. And this is after he was with Hanna-Barbera, and he was trying some crime comics. And he eventually had a distaste for it, for the nihilism of the character. He's not a hero. Left it pretty quick after only 2 short stories. But you can see how good he was here. And it's a little 2 different versions here, as you could tell. The words are different. And of course, the coloring. Colored by Corey Adams, who did a hell of a job. It's beautiful work. Hail, Jimmy. How's it going, guys? Glad to have you here. I'm going to go through this beautiful artwork here. The design, everything about it. I mean, look at this line work. Absolutely gorgeous. Chunky blacks. Look at the color. Fantastic. And Toth set it up beautifully here. And he had the bullets holes on the letters there, Torpedo 1936, and they removed those here. And again, the dialogue is different here. The narration is different. Here it says, hey, Michelle, how's it going? It really is, Jimmy. The color on the blonde is top notch. It's just beautiful. Again, Corey Adams. I never heard of him before. Toth also, for his Bravo for Adventure, his own graphic novel, the one he wrote pencil ink lettered, was colored as well. Not fully. There was always ideas that could be colored here and there, but it never was. But I would love to see it one day colored. It's a beautiful piece of work. So yeah, check out the difference here in dialogue. In the top left box, right, the first one, it says, if I'd killed her, I'd never have enjoyed those luscious lips or that gorgeous body. And then in the color version, it's completely different. I mean, completely different. And I'm thinking here, not thinking, I'm knowing actually, that the lettering here on the right is Toth. That is Alex Toth. That's his handwriting. At least it looks like to me. He had a beautiful handwriting. He was considered also one of the greatest letterers. He goes, her name was Thelma. Now, he didn't write this. It was Sanchez Abuli who wrote it. Took place in 1936. Toth loved 1936. He loved the 30s. He goes, her name is Thelma. She was a slut. She was a slut, but she was a hell of a great-looking slut. I was hired to kill her, but if I did, I never would have tasted those luscious lips or run my hands over that gorgeous body. Now, I'm not going to reread everything here, but it's just curious, the differences here and why that was done. It's completely rewritten. All the dialogue, all the narration is completely rewritten. But again, look at the contrast. Just, this is a great, simple drawing by Toth, but then the colorist goes there and says, okay, the hat brim will have a little shadow over. I won't dominate it. I won't be like use it all black, but I'll definitely differentiate between that shadow and the rest of his face. And this colorist, again, really kicked ass. I mean, look at this. I don't know what he used here. It looks a little, to me, airbrushed, possibly, because the cloth looks like actual cloth. That guy's colored beautifully. Look at the red of the cigar popping. These little things that Toth adds also, these little lines, I absolutely love that. I do that in my own work. I love those little additional fine details. And again, it's not overpowering. It's not noodling for the hell of it. It adds a little idea that there's texture there to some capacity. It doesn't do that on the faces, really. unless they have pocked faces, whatever. But I just want to go for a few more here just to see what the difference is. He told me where to find her. What a waste, but he could afford it. He hated her ass, but what the hell did he know? Burgo was a pig. Anyway, it wasn't my place to judge. I had a job to do. Very different, man. Very different. The attitude, the hostility. Um, but again, the color choices here are spot on, beautiful. He took what Toth laid down and said, "Okay, I'm going to put a little pattern on the pillows. Why not? It's a nice touch, beautiful touch." Um, Everything about this is just, and again, even in silhouette, you'll still have like a little texture in the background here, as you can tell what he did here. I'm sorry, I think, yeah, you can see it now. I believe you can see that my arrow now when I put it on the other thing. Sorry, the texture here and here, also there. The guy's suit, it looks like cloth. The shadow there from the tie, from his head. Man, the woman looks beautiful, beautifully drawn, simple as hell. You see just enough, of the sexuality here with her nipple there showing. And then you got here the next few pages. And again, the dialogue is so different. I may have shown you guys this already, but I don't think I showed you this version of the color and the black and white to contrast it. And again, Toth did this in black and white, knowing it would be published in black and white. And that's why when you know it'll be published in black and white, you try to use black as a color. You try to balance it up as much as you possibly can between black and white, white space and black space. But the color, again, just beautiful, not overpowering. Ha! Jimmy says, "I spent my youth looking for a Thelma, the 90s. That's right. I guess Thelma Louise is what you're referring to. So look at this. I mean, I don't know, just beautiful. And again, just enough there, even though you can see Toth framed the character here completely with a white background, make him pop. The colors, I think he could have lightened that green a little. Not that you can't see it really, you can, but just a little more. I think lighter to make him pop a little more, to make it a little more dramatic what he's about to do. He has his gun on her, and then she's a job. She betrayed the big boss, and he's being paid to assassinate her. And he goes and says, "I followed her and introduced myself. She and we hit it off right away. Later, there was no way I could waste her. In the end, though, I knew I had to tell her the truth. My news hit her like a ton of bricks. I asked her why Burgo had it in for her. Turns out he was a jealous ex-lover. It's always love, or money, or both. Burgo was jealous. He kicked her around bad. She left. He didn't like that." And then here, just the contrast between the two. "And here we are. I still didn't want to kill her. She got to me. I thought it was time to tell her about it. How Burgo hired me. The truth hit her like a speeding truck. Ton of bricks, speeding truck. That's when I found out Fatso was a lover she had dumped." Now I prefer that. A little more, concise. I mean, concision is also just a little more effective. And I know Toth actually complained about the creepy and eerie comics in the 70s where they had turned the lettering white against black. I love that. I use that in my stories also. I love that. The other one is just a little too conventional, really. This adds a little more drama to it, White text against black. It's just more effective. But that dialogue right there on the left and the black and white one is just better. It's just better. But again, at least the right side looks to me like more like a Toth font, but I'm not a 100%. Because I'm looking at some of the letters, I'm like, I don't know. It's interesting though. I will say that. To see the difference between the two. And then look at this also. Look at the drama here. Look at the intensity here. And then he says something here. Let me get back there. Okay. He says, I'm not giving up that grand. He goes, her story made me hate Burgo more than I had, but, you know, cocks his gun. He goes, you're going to kill me? And he goes up to her and he's about to choke her to death. And he kisses her instead. And he goes, on the left side, he goes, I've got an idea. I'm in your hands. Can you see it here on this? Yes, you can. Good. I've got an idea. I'm in your hands. Right where you belong, baby. And here he goes, if I don't, it's $1,000 and my reputation, but I might have a plan. If it works, Burgo's going to pay for what he's done to you. Good stuff here too. Look at this. Just enough. That's pure, just quick texture, enough to convey that that's a plant there without much. You don't have to, some people are noodle around to make every little leaf on there. He just, boom. That's it, like a brush. And see you after I pick up the money. He goes, and that one, he goes, I'll see you when I'm finished with Burgo. And in this one, this is interesting. Look at the contrast here on the left side. Everything go okay? No problem. And in this one, is a lot more involved. Where you been, Luke? We was beginning to think Thelma got to you. And that the two of you lammed out on us. I'm here for my money, Burgo. That's a lot better. It's a lot better. That's nothing. Everything can go okay? No problem. A lot better. And then you got this, and again, this beautiful work here. These faces. Look at these faces. Look at that gangster right there. I mean, look at this guy's face. Look at this. I mean, it's amazing. A very narrow face here. Squared off chin, big ears. Look at that face, man. Incredible. And this guy too. Look at that face. These are great caricatures. Great. And again, the dialogue. How do I know you finished her? And then the other one. Oh yeah? How do I know you finished her? Ain't read nothing in the papers. He goes, what's in there? Her head? He goes, what the hell is in there? Her head? He goes, very funny. You want a proof? He goes, you want a proof, fat man? Here's your proof. Now, I'm not sure if he'd be calling him fat man there because this guy has more power than him. And he's working for him. He's killing for him. And he's also, doing something underhanded according to their own code, right? Hail, Mikey. Hail, Bosch. I like they have the inked versions next to the color ones. Yeah, me too. Toth, for sure, penciled and inked this, but here, I believe that's Toth's handwriting, but I can't say 100% because I'm looking at some of the letters. I'm like, I don't know. I know he had a certain way of going about it. It just looks more handwritten than these. These look a little more artificial. But then again, Toth did experiment a lot with, word balloons, but that's not his handwriting. It's not. It's just not. And I doubt he would have changed it just for the story, even though Dave Mazzucchelli had a different, unique font for every individual character in Asterios Polyp, which is amazing. From the shape of the balloon to every single letter. That's commitment. Jimmy the Lumberjack says, so an artist has to make a choice on detail on meaningless background. I think the skill in that is knowing what's just enough. So an artist has to make a choice on detail on meaningless background. I'm not sure exactly what you mean there, Jimmy. Maybe if you could elaborate. But yeah, I mean, people, fans also, in a lot of ways, they want more lines. They want more detail. They think it's more work. Personally, I love the thoughtfulness, the more thinking on the page. If there's less thinking, there's more inking. I guess I just coined that right now, but it's true. If you think about it, if there's less thinking, there's more inking. Meaning you're gonna overload the page. You're gonna overload it because you're trying to overcompensate for the fact that maybe the storytelling is not as strong. Maybe the story itself is not as strong. Whereas you get these artists, the confidence here. Hill, the Hammer Dan, the Hammer Dan. Is that your first time here, Hammer Dan? It sounds. I don't remember your name. But even this scarf here, the way the character Luke is throwing it around, it's beautiful. Look at this, the versatility, just flapping it around. And again, this guy's face is just so damn good. Look at that, the heavy bottom lip, the little lines there. I'm working on a character right now. I just introduced him in the adaptation I'm doing, and he doesn't look like this, no. But there is a very consistent look that has sunken in cheeks, heavy eye bags, and you got to keep it consistent throughout the entire book. It's important. It's important. Okay, Jimmy, like the plants, every petal, or just light blotching. I just love the way it looked, Jimmy. Because again, other artists could. Barry Windsor-Smith, the great Barry Windsor-Smith, he's a great artist. He was almost complaining in an interview that he spends an inordinate amount of time trying to get if he draws like a yard, right? He'll try to make every single, grass, he'll try to make every single thing. He'll try to make every leaf on a tree and stuff, grass blade. And whereas Toth's like, yeah, I'll ornament this. I won't skimp that there's a background here, but I'm not going to overload it because my focus is on the main characters in the foreground. I'm going to focus on them, and I'm not going to focus a lot of work on them. Meaning, I'm not going to overdo their faces. That's all you need there. That's all you need, and it's beautifully done. And again, this colorist kicked ass. I mean, absolutely. Again, look at this also, the romantic quality here. It's very dramatic, this thing. He is sent here to kill her. He sees her. He falls for her right away, Yeah, Mikey. Tim loved Toth, loved him. And there's a documentary on Alex Toth called Simplicity, which I think is too simple a title in this sense. Toth gets, I think, a rap for being simple. That's not what it is. There were some artists who tried to look like Toth, and they thought skimping was what you do. It's just not true. Toth busted his ass here to try to get the storytelling correct, the drama heavy. Everything looks rock solid. The gun looks solid. The anatomy here, the face, the little slight pain in there, because he's like, God damn it, I'm not doing my job, but I want this woman, her crying there, her terrified here, also here. It's beautiful. That takes a lot of thought. That takes a lot of effort there. And again, he's not going to overload it with information because, again, once you overload it with information, I think you start to lose. It becomes monotonous to the point where it's like, okay. But what you could do at times is to use overloading, right? Meaning you set the stage for something. You make a very elaborate page or drawing and establishing shot, incredibly detailed, right? And then the next panel will be completely bare, sparse. And there's for a reason, because you want their attention. It's like, oh shit. Once all that detail's gone and all you have is a simplicity, you focus on something, you give a little more importance to that something than you did all that, So you could use that as well. You can use that as a setup. Make an incredibly elaborate, like a cityscape, let's say. And then you got closer and closer to a window, let's say, and then go into the building and then you see a face and it's simplified. All of a sudden, you're really focused on that face more so than you were on all that detail there, that you will not look at everything. Because if you have a more of a simple drawing on a panel, you're looking at that only. There's nothing else. When you have like a cityscape, you literally will not look at every little ounce of that drawing. You won't. You'll see it, say, "Wow, cool," and then you go there. So it's just, I hope I'm clear about that. I'm not sure if I conveyed that exactly as I intended to, but here, again, the angles also, guys. The angles here. Check this out. Overhead shot here, under here, right? The horizon line's lower here. Again, we're above, we're lower here, we're head on here, we're head on here. That's, he's directing this. He's like, okay, I think the best way to show them both in there, I'll show them here. I'll show them here, and then I want to show his hand opening up the thing. That's an important thing right there, and have these guys watching him closely, suspiciously, really. So yeah, so sorry, Mikey. Bruce Timm, yes, Bruce Timm was a fan of Toth. I've noticed something also. I think I deviate, and then I don't get back to it, but I just saw your comment again. So Bruce Timm was a big fan of Toth, right? And Toth let him have it over some of the stuff that he was doing on the Batman cartoon, and he mentioned it in the Simplicity movie. Guys, it's worth watching. It's on YouTube as well. It was on a Space Ghost. This is so funny. It was on a Space Ghost extra special edition collection, something of the old cartoons. I skipped it all to get the Toth movie, so I have it on disc, but it's available on YouTube as well. Alex Toth, I think Simplicity. That's it. Really well done. Really well done. And you get to see Alex Toth at the end with his family. He was a hermit. You get to see him with his children at the end. It's beautifully told. It's really done. A Man Called Plush. Toth? Pigman already had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. He's the master, Plush. He is the master. He's, again, at his best, I'll put him up against any artist ever. At his best. This, to me, is Toth at his best here. This is Toth at his best. The most dramatic, most versatile here. His willingness to go all black on certain panels, just pure black. That's bold stuff, man. Miller did that as well at times. So check it out. And again, even this, right? Just money. There's no need to go off and try to make every little, I've seen some artists try to make every little detail on a dollar bill. It's like, what a waste of time. I mean, truly, there's no need for that. You look at the dollar bills, you look at a detail in there. It's ridiculous to try to, put that in there. You suggest it. You put a little tinge of green, and everyone knows. Oh, okay, that's it. So here we go. And again, the colorists really kicked ass here because that house pops up more so than if it was like a more subtle color. This is a bright yellow. Boom. This background here, the orange, sky, pops more. Just the contrast here between the dialogue. Again, look at this. Her raincoat, you can see it wasn't quite bulletproof. That's enough. Pay him, Al. Get him out of here. He makes me sick, right? Her raincoat with my alteration. That's enough. Pay him. Get him out. And then also, thanks. Out, right? Slam. Pleasure doing business with you, chump. Don't take any wooden nickels. That's very different. Everything went as planned. It went off without a hitch. I almost split a gut when Burgo walked out of the room. I had a ball with the belle. She was red hot, a real tiger. I had her and the money while it lasted. It was time to get back to work. So this bum, criminal, blew all the money and says, all right, I've just been lounging out here with you. Jimmy says, found it and save it to watch later. Simplicity, thanks. Yeah, very, very cool, Jimmy. Yeah, it's great. It has the whole, the basic history of Toth, and it has his children in there. I think 4 of his children in there. People who knew him. Old DC artists. It had Mark Chirillo, who I got to correspond with over the years. He was the art director at DC. There's one point where he says he was being an asshole, and I respect that because it's hero worship, God worship, like people. Other words, Chirillo was honest enough to say if Toth was a little too out of line sometimes, he was willing to note it. Whereas a guy like Howard Chaykin, right, will at least call Alex Toth a god, right? And then that god maybe disappointed him. Maybe he wasn't too nice about some workers, and now he's an asshole, piece of shit. It's like, yeah, don't put him on a pedestal because you will try to kick him to the dirt at one point. Just don't do that. The first thing I wrote to Alex Toth when I sent him a Xerox on Table for One, I said, I think you're the best, but also I know that you're a man who had to do this. You're not the quote unquote God and it's, I don't think anyone's going to take that negatively. Like, you're not the God that you're called. It's like, meaning it takes the effort it takes to do this kind of work. It's not magic. It's not that he owns it. It's that he busted his ass to get this point. And as he put it, he goes, in the first half of my career, I try to put everything to my art. The second half, I try to take most everything out, And then Roy Crane, echoed by Toth, said something like, get everything in there and then basically, how was it? And draw the hell out of what's left. Like, focus, because this is a story here. This is not a portfolio. Artists sometimes, unfortunately, they're doing many portfolios for all their comics. So it's like, no, we're not doing portfolios here. We're telling a story. And that's why you can have these cropped images here with no problem. Some artists are incredibly unwilling to do things like this. Like, yeah, but it's like, yeah, but we don't need to. In this panel right here, the important thing is those words and the exchange of money. That's it. And you know that they're facing each other. You don't need more than that, really. And even this, the inside of the car, the authenticity here, the shadows, the old car, beautiful. And then look at this stuff here. Look at this stuff. And the colors really kicked ass here. Nice texture and leaving that white also. Look at this. Look at that face. Look at that face. Right there. Right there. Look at the body language here. Lounging out. Drunk. Walking through the city. Heartbroken. Because as he puts it here, let me get this back. Let me get this back to where you can see it all. I'm starting to get this idea where, okay, because if I go on the page that's on my computer, I can focus on the arrow and let you see exactly what I'm pointing towards. I can't do it on the Ecamm platform. He did, Mikey. Mikey asks, Toth ever work in the mainstream? I never read his stuff. Rarely, but he did. He did. He drew part X-Men number 10 with the Juggernaut. I think it was the first appearance of the Juggernaut over layouts by Kirby. It wasn't great because it wasn't really Toth and it wasn't really Kirby. It was like a mixture of both, and some inker came in there. I think Vince Coletta maybe jacked it up a little. He did Green Lantern early on. What was he? Alan Stewart? Is that his name? The original Green Lantern? Who they turned gay, after 50 to 60 years of him having a family. Pathetic. And the first image you see of him making out with the guy, just real assholes. Alan Stewart. He did that when he was young. He did romance comics for a number of years for DC and other ones. He did a time travel character, an adventure story. He did the Atom. He did the Flash. I think a crossover between them two. He did a Batman story for Archie Goodwin in a Batman comic. He did a annual Superman and Batman that Terry Austin inked in the 80s. He also did a Green Lantern one there. And he did a lot of years of Hanna-Barbera. He designed a lot of the animation, the characters, the character designs. He did a lot of that. He did presentation models for the animators for years. Um, Creepy and Eerie, which I guess you can call mainstream. It's pretty popular. I mean, the Creepy and Eerie magazines. But he didn't have a consistent run on a character. Didn't do that. I think, he was like a drifter. He was like a guy who felt a lot for something and then just after he stopped, he stopped. He moved on, moved on. And then he stopped working for a number of years. According to a friend of mine, when I heard it, I was a little defensive, I got to be honest, but he was like, well, his wife died. He was heartbroken, but he lived off of what she had. He didn't have to work, technically speaking, so he didn't. But I think he was burnt out also. He was always critical of the industry. Um, a healthier Will Eisner was a healthier individual. Will Eisner took this art form deadly seriously. Um, Always strive to. He was very positive about it. Always strive to make it better. For people to take it seriously. That was a very important for him because he took it seriously, so he wanted others to take it seriously. He wanted others to know what he knew about comics, that it's a valuable art form, whereas Toth checked out in a lot of ways. So that's why I got all these distinctions here. Frank Miller is my favorite writer for comics. Alex Toth is the greatest comic book artist ever. Will Eisner to me is the greatest role model for any cartoonist, hands down. Starting in comic strips to making comics to making graphic novels, to being the father of the graphic novel, to writing books on storytelling and comic book art, on writing, and then graphic novels. Every 2 years, it seemed like he was releasing graphic novel for like 20 years at least. His last book, which I have here, it's what is it? It's the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. It's called The Plot. It's, I think, one of his first non-fiction books about how the Russians created this complete fabrication of the Jews ruling the world and all that, and controlling this and that, and it was just another smear, and people believed it, and they still believe it to this day. It's like the USS Liberty, they just wantonly destroyed this American ship, and no, it was terrible, terrible, tragic, friendly fire, terrible. And then let's just say if it was true, if they were hostile, right? That's the only thing that anyone could ever point to. And meaning, if that wasn't in the nature of Israel within their relationship to us, they would have been at war with us. It was a terrible accident. Terrible. Yes, Headless Bourgeois. That Black Canary goes, that classic Black Canary short story. Beautifully drawn, man. Beautifully drawn. Great call out for that, Headless Bourgeois. He kicked ass on that, and he made her stunningly beautiful. Stunningly beautiful. When you open the first page, you see her with her, natural black hair before she puts on the wig, and you see her eyes, and it looks like, to me, Verdelisi, one of the most beautiful women ever, the Italian beautiful actress. Yeah, just going through a little more of this. Look at this, man. Look at the body language. Look at the situation here. He goes, Rascal said he'd do the job. Because, okay, let me just follow up here quick. So, this guy, again, I might as well just mention some parts of the story, but I'm not reading the whole thing through. I just want to show the story, the visuals, the storytelling here. If you notice here also, something was different here, even this right here. Look at this, guys. Look at the lettering here, right? It's choppy. And then here, it's not. Someone went in there and connected the letters for some reason. I don't know why they did that. I don't think it was necessary. What else did they change is a question in the art. Because I believe that's Toth's, and someone came in there and connected the dots there. I don't think it made much of a difference at all. And I prefer that, actually. It looks more like what those letters would be. But again, look at the body language. Look at him. He goes, a few contracts made ends meet. And then there, and then here, a few easy contracts, put meat back in the stew pot, but it kept me away from Thelma. That's a little additional right there, which you want to know. But again, the colorist here, yeah, I like it, but you can't drown out. You don't want to drown out that there are more thugs back there. To say that he's in danger, whether he's killing these guys, fine, but you know, you don't want to drown that out completely. Here, you can see the fact that it's a whole gang there. Things like that, I'm not crazy about. But the color is really good, everywhere else. This also, the color is understood. I want to make that light there, um, cold here, and warm here. Anyway, so he goes here, he goes, let me do this. You can see, okay. He goes, then one day, Rascal, his buddy, brought me bad news. Bell had run off with another guy, the bitch. And then in the other version, he goes, then one day, Rascal brought me the news. Thelma, the slut, had run off with someone new. It's interesting. They rewrote the entire thing, but I don't know, but not much difference. And some parts are better than others, but I don't know. But yeah, so is my first thought was to find her and wring her little neck. Rascal cooled me down. The cops had seen us together. Rascal said he'd take care of it for me, both of them, and at a very reasonable price. He goes, $200 was all I could afford. I wasn't like that rich pig Burgo, that bitch, double-crossing whore. I got smashed in a well-known bar. I could use that as an alibi. That's right, and he's visibly seen by everyone making a little scene about it. This way, no one will put two and two together. But here goes the different dialogue again. In a flash, I hated her. I wanted to rip her face off with my bare hands. I wanted to show that slut she couldn't jilt me. It's a lot more elaborate here. But Rascal calmed me down. Too many cops had seen us together. He knew they'd come around asking questions. And then on the bottom part, he goes, it only cost me 200. Rascal knew I couldn't pay more than that. Okay. Here, he talks a little more about his pain here. I set up an alibi for myself in one of my regular hangouts. The two-timing whore. No amount of booze could drown her from my mind. Okay, yeah, that's an additional point there that he adds. And then you got here, interesting choice of color here also. Cold, nighttime, And again, look at the body language here. You don't need to know much here. You just know that guy is topsy. Plus that bottle right there just it clinches it. It's like, oh, okay, this guy's drunk. Not much more you need to do than that. The way he's taking off his jacket there. The way he's lying down. Great shot there. Again, these kind of angles, overhead shot, under. The horizon line changes completely here. I love that stuff. I'm doing a lot right now in my current project because again, it's a lot of it is talking heads, and not a lot of it is action. I don't mind that personally. I mean, it's like you got a book like Asterios Polyp, right? That Dave Mazzucchelli did, 300-page graphic novel. It's a lot of it as well, mainly talking heads. You just got to make it as visually interesting as you can without overdoing it because I don't want to. I think it'll be indecent if I try to make it too dramatic, meaning, I don't know. It's like you can you can overdo it also, like try to make it, um, I can't explain exactly, but I don't make things that are not exciting and try to make them look exciting unnecessarily. But you could change the angles, and that's what's important, and that's what I've been doing. Overhead shots, just straight shots, you know, worm's eye, bird's eye, and so on. And also making the most of the height of the pages. Because again, the book I'm doing right now, it's 14 by 21, the original art. It'll be 8 by 14, the book. So it's like an extra tier of panels in that book when it's finally, published. It's like having an extra tier. So I'm making the most of the height also at times. I'm doing a lot of panels that, establish buildings and the city on the left side of the page. Characters who are standing there also, sometimes in the middle of the page with the full, height of the characters. Um, it's interesting. They go back and forth between being elaborate in the left one and then less elaborate in the right one, and so on. And so this is it. This is this story, and then there's another one to follow. Oh, okay, that's the story there. Okay, he says here, huh? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. That the last two pages are missing. Guys, check it out on your own if you're interested, because the last two pages are missing here, unfortunately. Yeah, because he showed, I think, her dress with the bullet wound. Damn it. I guess the website that I got this from didn't have it. But I love this stuff here also. Overhead light, right? Hitting there. Only the parts that are exposed to the on top are light, and then everything else on the side, slight thing, are black. I love that stuff. Absolutely love it. You guys want to chime in? Let me know any thoughts, any questions about this or whatever, or any recommendations you want me to give you about Toth. I can try to give you more. This is the second issue that Toth, and you could tell he was a little less interested. It's a little more rough, I will say that. The storytelling is as good as ever. The angles, the camera shots, and also this, guys. Not many artists would do panels like this. They're like, come on, I want to show a face. Sometimes it really works, man. Something like this or this, You don't have to have clear, centered people at all times. You can angle them around. You can look at these characters here also. Something about gangsters, and when Ditko drew them in the early Spider-Man comics, when Romita drew them later with the Kingpin's gangs. Buscema is great at drawing that. Also the thuggish savages in the Conan comics, and also here, look what Toast's doing with these guys' faces. It's fantastic. I mean, it's really, really good. Look at these guys. What characters? I mean, really, really good. So then here, I don't know. I think these are out of order as well, if I'm not mistaken. A man called Plush says, I know Toth did concepts for a canceled 70s Shadow tune. Any official work? Shadow? No, he did. He did the conceptual work, yes, and I have them in some of my books. They're I got I got all of the Toth hardcover collections of his art and stuff, and it's a beautiful, powerful shot of the Shadow, just using both his guns and shooting away with his cape or whatever it is, that huge thing blowing in the wind. I don't think he ever did a comic on the Shadow. He was, he also was accused of rewriting a lot of stuff. He fancied himself a better writer, I think, than he was. He did admit at one time, though, and which doesn't contradict it, but it also tells you, yeah, Mikey. It's funny. I eBayed the one book I don't have of Toth is The Art of Alex Toth from the 70s, right? I eBayed it. I won the bid, waiting to get it years ago, right? And the guy was like, "Oh, I spilled grapefruit juice all over it." I was like, "Oh man!" And I couldn't find it anywhere else. It's called The Art of Alex Toth. I don't think it was a unique book. I think it was a reprint of a lot of stuff. So I don't really care for that when they say that, the art of this, and then it's just a reprint. It's like I'd rather have some comics, sure, but I want some unpublished stuff. I want some stuff that no one ever saw. I want some individual drawings here and there, paintings and so on. That's what I want from an art book, especially if it says the art of. It's like other way, otherwise it's just a collection. But Man Called Plush, yeah, he did that. He had I would have loved to have seen that. He had his own characters also. The Fox he had. Um, what else was it, man? The Fox, Jesse Bravo, Bravo for Adventure, his own characters. Great stuff. But yeah, look at this stuff here. You, if you guys, yeah, it really did suck, Mike. I was like, oh man, because that's the only one I was able to find. I tried to find it for years. Um, maybe I can still try now, maybe. But then again, I heard that it's only a collection of some of the stuff, so it's like, eh. He also did, by the way, he also did a question book. Let's one second, one second. Uh, I don't have it here. Oh, I do. Okay. This is Charlton, Charlton Bullseye, and let me know if you can hear me when I go large, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I'm sorry. I hope you can. I hope you can hear me still. Please let me know, because I'm gonna go and just show this here. If you can just let me know right away, guys, if I'm not being, and then I'll just go small and expand the screen. So please, do let me know. I hope you can hear me. But yeah, so this was Charlton Comics. I got this a number of years ago, probably through eBay as well. This was 1973, I believe. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it. Great, great, great. And again, I don't know what the problem is. This thing updates often, and when it does that, when I go on, it always messes around. But here we go. Alex Toth drawing Steve Ditko's Ayn Rand based character, The Question. And he did the cover, and he did the interior for a short story. You got Joe Staton here. You have Carl Potts. This is early stuff here. Carl Potts doing The Question. Or Joe Staton. And then you have John Byrne also. Remember the robot? Because John Byrne did some early Charlton stuff. Bob Layton did. Neil Adams did as well. The back cover. This is John Byrne also. Check this out. Check out this early John Byrne. Whoa. We're talking, again, it's 1976, I guess. Huh. Hold on a second. This says Brzezowski. Okay. Look at this. Is it a Chuck Brzezowski? This is someone named Brzezowski and Terry Austin inking it. Early Terry Austin does not look the same. You can tell a little of the quality. Looks a little Burnish style. Looks a little like early Byrne. Was that Byrne changing his name just for this thing? I don't know. But then you got John Byrne here with Bob Layton. Writer-artist John Byrne. Early John Byrne, pre-Marvel. In the early 70s. I think right before he went to Marvel. Interesting stuff, man. Nowhere near as good as he ended up being, but you could still tell that it is Byrne. Interesting. Yeah, you could tell big time there. The woman there, her face, the guy, the big guy right there, the angles there. Interesting stuff. It's all John Byrne. Pretty cool. But here, let's go to the one that I wanted to mention, because Alex Toth. Written by Michael Uslan, if that's how you pronounce it. If you remember, guys, that's the guy who owned the rights to the Batman movie. Remember? To the Batman. Yeah, Man Called Plush. I mean, Byrne was, his Wolverine, nobody drew Wolverine better than Byrne at his best. I'm looking forward to the Elsewhere thing, but you got a little different look. The women are not as beautiful as you did them. Um, Wolverine is good there. It's not as good as it used to be. And Terry Austin just elevated his work to the point where you can't touch that. Those that run they did with Terry Austin and Chris Claremont. There's never been a better X-Men run ever, ever. And the closest you came to some extent was Jim Lee at the top of his game, very dynamic, working it all out. Um, yes, true. Man called Blush. You can always tell Byrne by his women, if nothing else. So here we go. Here's Alex Toth, uh, Michael Uslin, if that's how you pronounce it. Again, he's the guy who had the rights to the Batman for, I don't know how he got the rights. It's strange. It's a whole story. There's a video series about it. He got the rights, the film rights to Batman some way. Mikey says, Burns, my favorite Superman 2 besides Shane. I mean, Burns' Superman was, again, I was a Marvel guy, right? Until Miller went to DC and John Byrne went to DC. Then I'm a DC guy, right? Because the two of the best that Marvel had moved over to DC with Dark Knight, Batman Year One, and Man of Steel, and the Superman series. He also did Action Comics. The guy was kicking ass, man. He was writing and drawing Superman and writing and drawing and sometimes mostly inking the Action Comics. Besides doing the Legends, series and all that. And then it crashed and burned within 20 issues, I think. It wasn't as great as I think the promise was. It just wasn't. Didn't live up to the hype. But there were moments there where, like, wow, when he went to Dark Side, when he went to Apocalypse, when he went to Terry Austin inked the first 3 issues, and then he did the figure work for the 3rd issue, and Keith Williams did the background work. This was a little off kilter. And then Carl Kessel inked, and I'm not sure if he was the right inker for Byrne. I don't think he was. He was like Ralph Reese, dominating inking, and didn't let the artist come through as much as he could have and should have. Even though there were elements by issue 4, I think he started inking Byrne, and then I don't know. Byrne was being inked by Nick Giordano, that's how you pronounce it. And then Byrne inked a lot of the Action Comic stuff, and that to me was the best when he inked it himself. Besides the Terry Austin, clearly. Anyway, just want to show a little of the Alex Toth question. Look at that. Again, simplicity, skimping. No, that's a lot of work right there. A lot of thought, design work, very, very graphic. And I imagine he did this also. I imagine he did that. He made the question mark into a Q. Because that's like, Toth. Look at his art. Look at the character work. Look at the fine faces there. You see it? The caricatures. Clearly you know who the question is there. And his secret identity. And then it shows you here him putting on the mask, the way it works, and so on. Look at that. Strong stuff, man. Kicking ass. And then he draws, a beautiful woman there, an anchor. Look at this stuff, man. Again, things like this. This is pure Toth right there. The naturalness of the guy's hand there, holding the woman there. I love it because it's like sometimes artists are very set in their ways where they make one hand one way, period. He's like, no, the hand's a very versatile thing. You can mess around with it. You can do it any which way. So look at that. Look at her eyes. Look at this lady here. Her face. Look at the smoke coming up there. And then, sorry. I'm not precious with my comics, as you can tell. I'm not. I'm not a collector. I'm a reader. And the only thing I quote unquote collect are the hardcovers, not for any other reason, maybe besides the fact that I love looking at them in a larger way. than I would otherwise. Like the omnibuses and stuff, and also the oversized versions, like the artist editions and the gallery editions. Watchmen, I have a huge version of that. Dark Knight and so on. Batman Year One. I got the big ones: All Star Superman, the Ditko, uh, Absolute Watchmen, Batman Year One, the Killing Joke. Got all the Sin City, the Rocketeer. It's great stuff, man. It's just great to have. And then here's there's a question in his secret identity. It's great stuff, man. It's great stuff. And he penciled and inked the bulk of his later work. Toth did. Man Called Plush says, that's brilliant with the Q question mark. It really is. That would kill for a movie poster title sequence. Holy, absolutely. It's just beautiful. It's smart. It's smart. It's integrating the question, the character, the Q with the actual lettering. It's just great stuff, man. And he made a hell of a heroic question there. Hell of a heroic question. Guys, if you saw, let me see if I can find it here. Is it here? Do I have it here? Yeah. Let me show you something quick. There's a panel here that brings to mind David Mazzucchelli when Gordon is waiting outside of Bruce Wayne's home after interrogating him to find out if he's Batman, and it just reminds me of it. It just does. Let's see if you can see it here. I'll expand this a little just to be on screen at the same time with that. It's this panel here, right there. And I'm not saying he ripped him off. He doesn't. But it just reminds me of it with that card right there. Just that. And the shading and the simplicity. And you could tell that the finished work that Mazzucchelli had for Batman Year One was an homage to Toth. He wasn't, but Mazzucchelli is so great that I think it's more, and it's more than just like, he's not ripping him off, no, but I think he saw, I can do this, and I want to use that kind of deadline, that kind of, not deadline quality of art. I'm talking about without too much of a fuss when it comes to the finish line on the inking of the faces. Yes, Mikey, it's great. The Killing Joke. You got both versions and the script, and then you have also the idea, at least in there, by someone who said, I'm sorry, one second, guys. I got to get this, pull it out here. What happened here? Okay. I just want to make this small. Okay, good. The original color and then the color later. And also the idea that it's very possible that in that iteration, in that world, the Alan Moore, Brian Boland, that's how I've always called him. I think he called something else. That Batman kills the Joker at the end. And if you look at it, you say, okay, what's going on here? He's laughing and then he stops laughing. And Batman is laughing and puts his arms on him. Is he choking him to death? It's possible. It's off camera. It's interesting. It's an interesting theory. It's possibly true. I don't know. But it's a great piece of work. I know Moore has disowned it in a lot of ways, but he's such an asshole that he disowns anything worthwhile. He pretends that his least work is the best work. He's an asshole. Also, he can't wait to trash comics, to trash those who love comics. Like, bitch, you made your bones on comics. You made your bones on comics. Shut up. It's really annoying. Let me go through a little more of this and then I'm going to get going, but I just want to show you something's going on here I can't put forward. Is that it? 1 second. Let me see something here. Let me see something here because it's not going. Okay. You always have to relaunch this thing. It's very strange. Okay. So let me go here. And again, the characterization here, that guy reminds me of Tuco in Good, Bad, and Ugly, you know? Oh, hey. Look at it, body language. He's happy to see him. Um, Again, he went a lot more simple in this one than the last one. At least I can see that. But still, the storytelling was great. Great. And this hard scene here where he's being paid to kill his old friend. He goes, "Sorry, Benno. Nothing personal, just business." And again, what a great face there. Uh, Things like this, like to me, it could be John Buscema, Joe Kubert of that quality, you know, the right rock solid shadow. But of course, you know, this is inimitably the line work is Alex Toth there. He was his finest inker, Toth. You know, it should be the case that an artist should be his finest inker. Should be. I think Terry Austin was a better inker for Byrne than Byrne himself. I think John Buscema, nobody inked John Buscema better than John Buscema. Nobody. Nobody inked Toth better than Toth. Miller, for Sin City, maybe, but that's about it. Outside of that, I don't think he's that great of an inker. But for Sin City, you can't imagine anyone else inking that. That's pure. That's Miller. You know, it's um, John Romita Jr. Believe it or not, is a really good inker. He's only done covers though. He's never inked his own comic, and it's annoying. It's like he's a penciler, and that's it. It's like that's it. You've been here for 40, 50 years now, and making comics only penciling. I don't get it. But I would love to have seen a comic book inked by him completely because he's good at it. He inked that one cover with Cyclops blasting the Uncanny X-Men thing. Let me show you guys if you haven't seen it. I remember Jim Shooter praising that cover to the rooftops. Uncanny X-Men number 176. Is it? Yes. Okay. I'm surprised I actually knew that. It's just, to me, it's a hell of a cover, and he inked it also. I want to get a nice, clear image of it, though. Can't really see a good one, sharp one. 1 second. I'm seeing a lot, but not one. And I know, you know, he gets his critics and all that, and you know, but I just love this cover. I guess I can show it off here, but it's not a really good quality one. I'm trying to find it. What the hell? Can I find a really good one here? 1 second. Let's see if it comes up here. Not really. Not that good, but let me just show you quick before I get back to this. Yeah, you see that? He inked this. Pencil and inked it. I love it. I think it's great. Rock solid drawing. Just enough detail. Very strong stuff, and he's in trouble. It's great. It's great. Very, very dramatic. You know, Romita gets a lot of shit. And again, I can agree with some critics to say, well, his faces are off. And they have been, and they are, unfortunately. Even like a recent issue of Amazing Spider-Man he did. Peter Parker looks like Peter Parker, and then looks like a big bruiser with a big nose and a short chin. It's like, okay, what's going on here? A lack of consistency, a lack of care. Unlike his father, you know, cared about every single stroke that he laid down. He was a meticulous artist. Look at this, yeah. His friend, he had to kill him, take him out. I'm sorry, but you know, Benno, I really am. Yeah. Even gave him a cigarette here. And then the guy's kid wants to kill him. Tells him, I'm going to kill you, you bastard. You know something, kid? I bet you will. But again, it's all different here. Check this out. One more thing. Don't let me see your face again. Got it? I'll kill you when I grow up. I'll kill you. He goes, don't forget to take your vitamins. I'll kill you. I mean, it's so different. It's like, what? So different. But yeah, let me just leave that. Let me leave this here. And just, if you got any more comments, guys, would love to go back and forth. Look at this stuff, man. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Look how dramatic that is. Mikey says, "Yeah, I hate John Ray Jr. doesn't ink himself too." Now, you hate his work, and you said he doesn't ink himself too. Not, can you elaborate there? I know. Believe me, I've heard enough where a lot of people say it. Rob Liefeld, though, presumes that he can judge John Ray Jr. and Greg Capullo and trash them. It's like, who the fuck are you? You're gonna trash Greg Capullo? Romita gets a lot of shit, but Greg Capullo, 10 times the artist you are. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing, actually. Benino. I probably spelled it wrong myself. A Man Called Plush. The canceled Batman Year One movie script by Aronofsky and Miller was a strange, interesting read. It was A Man Called Plush, and there was one part in it where, what was it? It was really dramatic exchange between Alfred and him. Strong moment, at least. I'm not sure if it would have worked, but to be honest, as good as Batman Begins did. It was a little too trying to deviate far too hard. There was a real try hard to say, we're doing our own thing. It's like, yeah, but you're not. It's not your own thing. It's Batman. He's an iconic character. He's a franchise character. You're not going to come in there and kick everything down, you know. But there was some elements there, some dialogue in there about the psychology of Bruce Wayne. Really interesting, good stuff. Yeah, the table wine. You talking about Genko? Is well drawn, really well drawn. Yes, that Bruce was pissed off but learned from his mistakes. Yep. Yes, more Thelma, says Jimmy. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Man Called Plush, Pattinson, the current Batman. Could you say it's current? It's been years now. It's like, okay, guys, 3 years, 4 years almost going. Next one, the second one will be 5 years after the first one. Is that a real, clear? It's like, that's a little too long. It's way too long, and he didn't have the edge. I don't think the strength. I didn't believe that guy could go out at night and kick ass the way Batman's supposed to. Bale, you can see it. You say, okay, I can see that guy. Even Keaton, to some extent, that look of his that he had at times, the intensity. Pattinson, he looked like an emo Bruce Wayne. And again, his Bruce Wayne was, anyone in Gotham would say, oh yeah, that guy's Batman. Yeah, that guy there with the black hair, black under his eyes, black suit, deadly serious. That's Batman. You have to try to deflect. That's why it works for 80 years, 90 years. It worked that Bruce Wayne has a playboy, personality. Mikey gets said, I think John Ray Jr. got in fights with other artists saying he's only here because of his follow. Yeah, well, he didn't get fights with them. He actually took it and bared it. They trashed him. They called it to his face that it's just nepotism. And that's bullshit because he's a better storyteller than his father. He's a better layout, like the layouts, the way he paces a story. He's better than his father. His father's a better illustrator, for sure. Romita is a little more dynamic than his father. More willing to go a little rough also. Rough around the edges, whereas Romita couldn't help but be slick. And he was trashed, and he proved himself. I mean, you look at Man Without Fear. If you haven't read it, you guys, if you haven't read that, if anytime you hear someone trash John Ray Jr., Get, and if you haven't, at least, get The Man Without Fear by Frank Miller, written by Frank Miller, penciled by John Romita Jr., and inked by Al Williamson. It's great. It's great. I want to see an artist edition of that almost more than anything. I got all the artist editions that are, I got the Daredevil Born Again, I got the Sin City, I got the Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, the Bravo for Adventure. I got the comic strip, the Spider-Man comic strip. I got the original art from Daniel Klaus. I got all these, right? But the Daredevil Man Without Fear, I want that, and I want the pages that were never published, which, from what I gather, there were a number of them. They showed some of them in Comics Journal years ago. Would love to see that. Mikey says, no, I like John Romita Jr. a lot, but I think his better days are behind him. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. Even though I gotta say there was a recent issue that he did, this one guy coming down, he looked like an ancient character with a helmet, and it was just damn good. Damn good storytelling, good drafting. I don't like the way he draws Spider-Man now with he's still trying to cling to that McFarlane era. It's like, that's long gone. The fill-in artists who do the comics when he doesn't do it, like, because they're doing it every 2 weeks now, Amazing Spider-Man is being released, right? So they're getting a few different artists. Every other artist that is not John Romita Jr. is drawing the classic Romita Sr. style. And I'm like, John, your father established this beautiful design that you perfected in the 80s. You took your father's design, even stylized it more, but you're still clinging to the McFarlane style thing? I don't get it. I don't. Good night, Jimmy. Take care. Be well, man. All right, guys. I just wanted to chime in for a bit here. It's been about an hour. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for the give and take, as always. Much appreciated. I'm going to try to do more streaming regularly. I want to get my channel built, healthy, to the point where I can launch, Pigman #2 strong, my own channel, like I did last time. It was a strong, on my own. I was able to build $4,000 to $5,000 that first day on the launch on my own channel, which was, I guess, I gotta say, pretty damn good. And then I went to Ethan's. I think he added another 5, and then I was able to build, what was it, 13,000 for a few months between on my own, with the help of Katie and with the help of also Ballers and some others and Shane and Shanth. But then, the final day was nice, really good. Okay, excellent. I do want to watch it, Mikey. Thanks, man. Thanks for the heads up. Very, very cool. Definitely going to hop on and see it. I wasn't crazy about the last few, to be honest. The one with Vito, I checked out on. I can't do that. The guy's a mess. And then also too many guests. I prefer when it's Ethan mainly, doing his thing on his own. I just prefer that. Thanks, Mikey, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks, Mikey. Always appreciate the give and take. You guys take care, be well, and I'll see you on Trashcast. I'll definitely watch myself as I get some stuff done. So take care, guys. Be well. Until next time, thank you.